붙잡지 못해.
뭐야 여기 까고 있었어?
여기 거리가 좀 있어. 여기 쉐리바?
너무 행복하지?
야, 이게 행복하니까. 근데 이 감정은 정국이는 모를 거야.
왜?
무서워서 도망가고 싶어.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Diaries channel. They told them to redo the scene, but what if the first take revealed something the cameras weren't meant to catch? Face screaming in fear for just a split second, Jimin and Jungkook forgot the script, forgot the staff, forgot the rules. What appeared on screen wasn't acting, fan service, or choreography. It was raw, unfiltered emotion, the kind that makes a room go silent. Why did the staff step in so fast? And why does that unseen moment still feel more real than anything that made the final cut? The moment felt too real to be scripted. When the cameras first captured it, there was a brief silence on set, one of those rare silences where even the staff seemed unsure whether they should interrupt or simply let the scene breathe. Jimin and Jungkook were standing close, closer than the choreography required, closer than the script described. Their eyes met not with the exaggerated expressions of idols performing for a lens, but with something softer, heavier, unmistakably genuine. It was the kind of look that doesn't ask for permission, the kind that slips out when two people forget the world is watching. That was when the staff stepped in. A quiet but firm instruction followed. They needed to redo the scene. Not because of a technical error, not because the lighting was wrong, but because what had just happened felt too real. The atmosphere shifted instantly. What should have been just another take suddenly became a moment loaded with meaning. Fans would later ask why the scene had to be redone, why that first version never made it to the final cut. But anyone who truly watched Jikook knew the answer was written all over their faces. When they were told to reset, Jungkook laughed softly, the way he does when he's trying to hide something. Jimin looked away for a second, his smile lingering just a bit too long. These weren't the reactions of people who had just been acting. These were the reactions of two hearts caught off guard, gently pulled back into reality after drifting too far into their own world. The staff wanted them to act again, to follow the script, to tone it down. But how do you ask someone to pretend when what they just showed wasn't pretend at all? As the cameras rolled for the second take, something subtle changed. They still performed flawlessly, they always do, but the rawness of the first moment was gone. It was replaced by something more controlled, more polished. Yet even then, the truth found its way through. Jungkook's eyes still searched for Jimin's instinctively. Jimin still leaned in without realizing it. Love like that doesn't disappear just because someone says, "Cut." It simply learns how to hide in plain sight. This is why so many fans believe Jikook never really needed to act. Time and time again, their moments feel different from rehearsed interactions. There is an ease between them that can't be taught, a comfort that only comes from deep trust. When Jungkook reaches for Jimin, it doesn't feel like fan service. When Jimin smiles at Jungkook, it doesn't feel staged. It feels like muscle memory, like something they've done 1,000 times when no one else was around. The forced redo of that scene only made this truth louder. If it had been pure acting, there would have been no need to stop. Actors redo scenes all the time without anyone questioning the emotion behind them. But this was different. The staff sensed it. The energy on set shifted because something unscripted had slipped through. For a brief moment, the line between performance and reality blurred too much, and it had to be corrected. Fans who noticed the change weren't imagining things. Many replayed the clip again and again, comparing expressions, body language, the way their voices sounded. The first take, though unseen in full, lived on in fragments, in reactions, in the way Jikook carried themselves afterward. There was a softness, a lingering warmth that didn't fade even after the redo. It was as if the truth had already been revealed, and no amount of retakes could erase it completely. What makes this moment so powerful isn't just the idea that they were stopped. It's what that stop represents. It represents a boundary between what can be shown and what must be hidden. Jikook exist constantly on that boundary. Their love, whatever form it takes, seems to exist in stolen glances, unfinished gestures, and moments that end just a second too soon. The redo wasn't a denial of what happened. It was an acknowledgement that something real had happened at all.
지민, 죽는 거 아니야?
In the end, the final version of the scene aired, and to the casual viewer, everything looked normal, professional, perfect. But to those who truly watched Jikook, the real scene was the one we weren't supposed to see. The one that made the staff nervous. The one that didn't follow the script. Because love, when it's real, doesn't wait for cues. It doesn't check the camera angles. It simply exists, quietly but undeniably. After that day, the story of the redone scene quietly followed them, lingering in the background of every interaction that came after. It showed itself in the way Jungkook became more careful with his hands, stopping just short of where he naturally wanted to rest them. It showed in how Jimin learned to mask his reactions a little faster, turning instinctive affection into playful gestures that could always be explained away. Yet no matter how careful they became, the truth never fully disappeared. It simply changed shape. There were moments later on behind-the-scenes clips, casual live broadcasts, fleeting seconds caught by fans where the same energy resurfaced. A shared laugh that lasted too long. A look that softened the room. A silence that felt intimate rather than awkward. Each time, fans were reminded of that first take, the one that crossed an invisible line. It became clear that what the staff had asked them to redo wasn't just a scene, but a boundary between what could be publicly shown and what had to remain implied. What makes Jikook's connection so compelling is that it doesn't rely on grand gestures. It lives in small details. The way Jungkook unconsciously mirrors Jimin's movements. The way Jimin's voice changes when he speaks to Jungkook, becoming gentler, warmer. These are things that can't be choreographed. They happen when people are emotionally tuned to each other, when they've learned each other's rhythms over time. Acting can imitate emotion, but it can't recreate that kind of familiarity. The redo, in a strange way, confirmed everything fans already felt. If nothing real had been there, the moment would have passed without consequence. But it didn't. It stopped the room. It made professionals step in and regain control of the narrative. And even then, they couldn't fully erase what had already been seen and felt. Because once something real shows itself, even briefly, it leaves an imprint. Perhaps that's why Jikook moments resonate so deeply with people. They feel like glimpses into something honest in a world built on performance. Fans aren't drawn to them because of perfection, but because of authenticity, the sense that sometimes Jimin and Jungkook forget to perform and simply exist together. Those moments are rare, fragile, and often cut short, but they carry a weight that polished scenes never quite match. In the end, the scene was redone, the final version edited and released as intended. But the first version lives on in memory and intuition. It lives in the collective feeling that something genuine was interrupted, not because it was wrong, but because it was too right to be safely shown. And maybe that's the quiet truth at the heart of it all. Jikook didn't need to act then, and they still don't. Their love, whatever form it takes, has always spoken loudest in the moments they were never supposed to share. And that is why this moment continues to haunt fans' hearts. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was honest. Jikook didn't need to act. For a split second, they forgot they were supposed to. And in that second, they showed us everything. So what do you think? Was that moment really just acting? Or did something real slip through the cracks? If you felt the emotion too, you're not alone. Jikook have a way of saying everything without ever saying a word. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next moment we uncover together. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. Until next time, stay warm, stay curious, and keep believing in the moments that feel a little too real to be fake.